Oi, oi.
Oi, oi.
Happy Thursday.
Oh, Andy's got more hair this week.
He has. He looks different, doesn't he? He really does.
Yeah.
Andy, you scrubbed up well this week, mate.
Try the effort. Put a bit of effort in this week.
So everyone in the chat, you might have noticed that Andy's looks totally different this week and he sounds totally different, and that's because he is different. We are joined by none other than the one and only, the Geordie Geek, Triple G. How are you doing, Pete? How you doing, mate? Good?
Very well, mate. Very well. Over the moon to be. That was a cracking intro, mind.
It's
enjoyed that. My little head was going like this.
That's all because of that man down there.
Yeah. Very good. Very good.
It's good. How you been, though? Good?
Yeah. Marvellous, mate. Still riding high from Thought Bubble. Had a fantastic time there, as I know you guys did. So, yeah, still buzzing from that.
Which one was high?
All of them.
It was good, though. It was wicked. I really, really enjoyed it. I was still thinking, still wish I could go back and redo it all again and have some banana shots and what were they, kamikaze shots, or what was it, kamikaze
tequila, whatever you were squirting in your eyeball at one point. I don't know what that was all about.
Ironically, Tim's still at the Chinese restaurant waiting for his takeaway. He's still in Leeds.
Session. But yeah, I mean, like you've done another Comic-Con since then, haven't you? You've done quite a few since Thought Bubble.
Yeah, we did Liverpool Comic-Con, which was interesting. It was an interesting event, that one. Nowhere near a patch on Thought Bubble, I would say. But yeah, it was all right. It was a good one.
Is it a bit more corporate, those ones? Or a bit more like on the kind of movie side of things, less on the
Yeah. So I mean, the kind of the retailer stall side of things was massive, and there was a few good comic book sellers there, toy sellers and things like that. But the majority of it's about signatures from actors and things like that, and a lot of them. I mean, Ben and James T. Keegan, who I went with, will kill us, but I didn't recognize half the bloody names. I didn't know who the hell these people were. And the queues were just immense, absolutely immense. So it was a bit of a long wait for some of them. But yeah, it was good. It was all right.
But that's the thing I think about Thought Bubble, where it's quite big, you can kind of literally spend. I mean, I think that one of the biggest queues was James Tynion on the first day. But then it kind of just went down straight away. And then you kind of look at someone like Jock and Snyder, they were moving pretty fast.
Yeah. Yeah. With Snyder on the Sunday when I got his signature, there was literally Connie in front of us. That was it.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a bit worse for wear, but there was nobody there around him, which was incredible, really.
It's quite a nice, intimate little show, isn't it? They're like, it's not as busy as you expect it to be, and you can basically see everyone you want to see and chat to everyone you want to see.
Yeah. I think that's the thing, Tom, for me. You could move around and get around the entire convention and still feel quite relaxed and all the rest of it. This one at Liverpool, there was points where we were literally shoulder to shoulder, single file, kind of just wobbling around, and it was horrific. You could feel yourself getting quite anxious at times. So yeah, I much prefer Thought Bubble. That's a definite for me every year, I think.
Yeah. I think me, Tom, and Andy were talking about like meeting up and doing like one more extra con and stuff like that. I think the big one and the one on like I think Tom, you've already been to is New York Comic Con, haven't you? You've been, and you kind of like the piece of resistance you met up like J. Scott Campbell and everything like that. So kind of that's where I'd like to get to in like a couple of years and just go over there. But then I'd like to tie it in and do like San Diego Comic Con and do like WrestleMania and stuff like that.
Oh, mate, WrestleMania was sick.
Of course, I've got a contact in San Diego, my man Efren, who's over there, goes every year. So,
yes.
That was a possibility.
How many spare rooms has he got?
Efren will put all up, I'm sure.
I'll bring a tent.
Yeah.
But not only is it us three tonight, we've got a chat that's absolutely buzzing at the moment. So we've got Copy 801, who's been in for the past 3 weeks. Welcome, sir. Thank you very much. What up, all? We've got Chris Bell, I think already winning the comment of the night. Replacing the Jock with a Geordie is an inspired move. Nobody below Sheffield will be able to tell the difference. I didn't know. Honestly, I didn't know. I just thought Andy had like a hair transplant over the week.
Yeah, I thought it was Andy, to be fair. When I first logged in, I was like, oh, Andy looks really good this week.
Other than Connie, we've got the most consistent viewer of the show. It is the where is it? It's the Stream Elements. The Stream Elements bots is running. Whoop whoop! Thank you very much for that. We've also got the Hobgoblins Hideaway. Thank you very much, Tim, for joining. Make sure you check them out tomorrow, 8 p.m. over on VOTS. They're going to have a fantastic show as always. It's all about going out, but staying in, buying some comics, spending money, then getting told off by the wife because you've been spending on a credit card again. Hey, Pete.
Yeah, just a touch.
There we go. We've got everyone's attention. Evening, Ben. How you doing, mate? Be gentle with Peter, will you? Of course we will. We had a very gentle conversation before we started, but we won't go in for that because that's
no.
different conversation show altogether. We've got Mr. N Khan, Mr. Mrs. Evening chats. First time I have been here live. Welcome. Always good to have a new viewer. We've got the one and only Simon. He is checking in from the Chinese in Thought Bubble. He's still waiting for his chicken balls. Welcome, Simon. Hope you're having a good one, mate. Ben has also said, really hoping for some fresh names next year. Bendis, Jim Lee, Scotty Young, Chris Belecho, top of that list. And Mania will be in the UK in the next 5 years, I reckon. Ben,
mate, that'd be wicked.
Next year, I'm going to AEW. I've already said to the wife, I don't care how much the tickets cost. When they come over here next year, I will be at the front of the queue. AEW, I will be there. That will be it. Who else we got?
You and Big James doing Scissor Me Daddy at the front.
Yes, Scissor Me Daddy, yes. There we go. There was me about to shout out Nice Con in Bedford and you drop NYCC Top Trumps Killer Move. That's what we do on the show.
To be fair, Tim's right. Nice is a very, very good comic convention.
Is it?
I thought I'd read that Nice was binned and it wasn't happening anymore.
I don't know. Jeff was going to do it last year and then it didn't happen. And I think he's just kind of put it on hiatus. But it's one of the better comic cons I've been to as an artist. Jeff really does look after you. He's an absolute legend. And he had Donny Cates the last time I was there. Wow. And I had a really cool conversation with Donny Cates. He actually came over and bought one of my art pieces. Right. One of my Venom prints, and he's like, "This is wicked. I'm going to put it up in my wall." And I was like, "Yeah, cool." At first, no idea who he was because I had never seen his face before. And then later on, I was like, "Shit, that's Donny Cates." Yeah.
And then he copied your work, and it turned into Venom, and you never got a dime.
No royalties.
But do you know what? That actually could link in a little bit later to what we're going to talk about on the topic table.
There we go. We've got Phil. Evening. Happy birthday, Pete. Is it your birthday again?
It is, mate.
Happy birthday to you.
We've got Mark Holroyd. Evening. Connie Dalton. Evening, darling. Hey, guys. Can't stay, but have a good show. And there we go. Yes, I'll join you for the dubs. Get in. Love that. And then we've got Andy. And Andy? I thought you were on, Andy. Christ, I look good tonight. You do indeed. And then we've got the last comment. It's been purely due to clash on show schedule. It is 100% coming back in 2023. Oh, and then we've got one more viewer. Everyone's favourite, YouTube Heisenberg. Hey, guys, we'll catch up on the rewind. Have a good show. Thanks for stopping in, Leon. Very, very welcome. So, how do you want to do this, Pete? How would you like to do it? Do you want to... You're a star on the show, so how would you like to do? Do you want to go into the killer covers or do you want to do the pickups? You choose.
Ooh, let's do covers first, eh?
You want to do covers first? Are you sure? Ooh. Yeah. Let's do it. There we go. Everyone in the chat and everyone on the show knows this by now. This is where we get down to business. This is where it's the business end of the show at the start of the show. Killer covers, December 7th. So it's the new killer covers for New Comic Book Day, which was December 7th, which was yesterday. So I hope you're ready, guys, because we've got some absolute crackers here tonight. Up first, we've got Andy. He's gone for The Joker, The Man Who Stopped Laughing, issue number 3, DC Comics by the one and only, one of my favourite artists, Lee Bemijo. This is just as freaky as anything, man.
You like that, Tom?
Oh yeah, when they sent it in the group chat, I was like, "What the fuck is this? What am I staring at? This is literally a horror movie for me because Christmas is my favorite time of year. So let's be really good. Let's dress up a clown in a Christmas outfit." Shit.
Just this. I love it. I just think like Liber Mijo, like I've got Liber Mijo behind it, and the way that he does the dark tones, the colours, and everything like that. This is just. I'd love to see a Santa like that.
Oh, me too.
I think it's the detailing on this. It's a fantastic cover. Like the detailing on that chair alone is incredible. Well, what do you think, Pete?
I think it's phenomenal. I absolutely love it, and I love the little Robin. I think just the expression on his face. It's an amazing cover.
Yeah, look, even Andy's saying about his own cover. Robin is how I feel. It's just look at that, loving the Batman doll. See, it's the detail like that, like loving the Batman doll and stuff like that. And even like I think I was trying to look on the baubles if there was anything there. I don't know if that relates to anything, any of the stripes or the blood spatters or stuff like that. But
it's the attention to detail that makes this one for me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a really good cover, despite the fact that it's my worst nightmare. It's it's a really good cover. The attention to detail you've got, you can see the reflections of the tears, like the water in the tears.
Yeah.
The actual suit that he's wearing looks like a velvet suit. Like you can actually almost feel the texture of it from the way he's drawn it, the way it's coloured. So yeah, hats off. This is probably by far one of the nicest covers this week.
And Phil's even said the same thing. Liber Mijo for the win. Don't need to see the others. Chris is, I'm loving the Batman doll. Looks like Peter sat on Charlie's lap.
Yeah.
And then Andy's telling you off, saying, "For fuck's sake, sell it, Peter. Sell it. Sell it."
It's sexy. It's very, very sexy. I like it.
There we go.
It's nice.
He's got.
Would we call it sexy? I mean, who finds
it? Well, yeah, maybe.
I mean,
well, you were the one talking about red velvet and things like that. I think it's
Yeah, Tom. I think you got a bit of a Vic Reeves going on there with a lot of rubbing to the fires and stuff like that. Not calling the dove from above. So this is Andy's entry for this week. Then we've got mine. I've gone for Poison Ivy issue number 7. I've gone for the 1 in 50 Joshua Middleton foil variant. The simplicity of this just basically says it all, like the roses, like making up her hair, the vine leaves, and the fact is that Josh is Joshua Middleton cover 1 last week, so I thought I'd piggyback on that and see if there were still the same Joshua Middleton fans in as well. But I've actually seen this. I see this in, where was I, Forbidden Planet, or was in Gosh Comics yesterday. This is a fantastic cover. Like it's incredible, and I'm a massive fan of foil covers. I'm a massive fan of DC paper because everyone knows what really grinds my gears is Marvel shitty paper, and this just looks fantastic. Like this is simplicity at its finest. What do you guys think?
Hey.
Yeah, I think it's amazing. I love the way her hair's kind of blending into the background at the top. It's stunning, absolutely stunning. I love the character as it is, but that's a really, really nice rendition. You could see that on a wall, couldn't you? Do you know what I mean? Like it's a proper piece of art. Just put it somewhere.
So when like some of the variant covers you can pick up now, I think Luke from Hydra Collectibles said it ages ago. Sometimes you want a comic book cover to be a comic book cover, and sometimes you just want them to be works of art. I think this and a lot of Joshua Middleton's covers recently, you just see as a work of art. You can whack them in a picture frame, and that'd be cool. Like that'd be fine for me. But yeah, as Andy says, strategically placed nipple leaf right there.
Yeah,
love that.
Those eyes. It's the eyes. I'm reminded of that scene from what do you call it? American Pie, when Jim's talking to his dad, and the eyes are kind of looking.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Hi, Charlie. Hi. You know, it's like.
Aye.
Look at that. So this is my entry. Loving this, and it's actually a really good story. I've been following this as well, and it's a really good story. I was really hoping that Stefan Sejic's Pamela Isley was going to go into a big, but like he did Harleen. I thought he was going to do one for Isley, but it got cancelled 2 years ago, so they're not doing that. So I'm really glad that this came out as an individual Poison Ivy story. So yeah, I'm loving this. Then we've got Tom.
I've gone for Do a Powerbomb. I've gone for the Wayne Warren Johnson Spawn variant just because I love the idea of Spawn being a wrestler. and I love how he's drawn him and kind of kitted him out as a wrestler. And as Charlie will know, since Thought Bubble, Charlie's kind of fucking twisted my arm into start watching wrestling again. So yeah, I'm all for this. I thought it was a really cool cover, to be fair, and it's different to what everyone else has picked, because everyone else has picked like sexy women or you know whatever. So I've gone for 2 sexy blokes trying to kill each other.
But you know what I like about this though is that obviously it's a Spawn variant, but then his knee pads are Spawn as well.
Yeah, it's the subtle details, because he's got the Image logo tattooed on his shoulder, and then he's got Wanda tattooed across his chest.
Yeah,
which I thought was a really cool details. And as his uniform is in the comic books, he's kind of got it on as a wrestler, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. I just think, I mean, Pete, have you been reading this comic?
I haven't. I've heard you talk about it, so it's a one that I'm desperate to pick up, but I've not read it yet.
It's honestly, it's fantastic. Like, it's such a great comic, and I think obviously this issue that come out this week is the last issue, and then the trade paperback comes out in March. So I definitely think this is going to be on the reading list next week. But what are we saying about this? So wait, hold on. Wait, you are watching Wrestling Tom. Have I lost you too? Hello, darkness, my old friend. There we go. And the Mijo cover is better, but I'm totally biased towards Do a Powerbomb and Daniel Warren Johnson. Trade is out in March, Pete. There we go. So yeah, definitely pick it up, Pete.
Is it not February? It's in the most recent previews magazine. You sure it's not in February?
It might be. It might be.
I mean, it might be March. I just saw it in the most recent previews magazine. Thought it was February.
Yeah.
So then we've got R3, and then we've got the man at the moment. You've gone for this one, Peter. Sell it, boy.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, it's not as good as yours. But yeah, I just liked it. I saw this. I like a gruesome cover. I like my horror comics. I liked the imagery of Spider-Man's face kind of being ripped to shreds there. There was a Virgin variant of it, but they had a different color on Spider-Man for some reason. I just think that jumps out. His eyes look a little bit bulgy to me, but I still think it's quite a gruesome image. And I like the spider on the top of his head just kind of peeking out there.
Yeah, that was quite cool.
Like a negative style, or like a purple.
Yeah.
It'll be the other character, won't it? What's the other character that's in it now? That's the clone that's just changed again. It's the whole dark web. It's him versus his clone again, isn't it? I can't remember the name of the character though. It's basically the Scarlet Spider, but he's got a new name.
Oh, right. Okay. I haven't read it for a while, to be perfectly honest, but yeah, I just bother. I'll avoid. I'm a massive fan of Marvel Zombies, and this kind of jumped out at us as that kind of a thing.
Oh, I like the spider on his head. I've only just noted that.
Yeah, no, that's wicked. Like, I do like that, but the negative version that you said, Pete, it's not as impactful as this.
No.
And if this was a foil cover and there were certain elements of it, this is a winner all day long. But it's just, you know, that it's just going to be on shit paper.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's toilet paper, basically, isn't it?
I mean, I'm looking forward to reading this dark web, because if this covers anything to go by, like the whole Marvel zombies and stuff like that, I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I don't think it's going to be as good as people are making it out to be. Unfortunately, I think it's going to be one of those try and get people back interested in Marvel situation. Unfortunately, I think if you have a look at all the covers they've done for dark web, they've tried to hit every genre. So everybody will go, oh, do you know what? This might have something for me. And then they'll read it and go, oh, it's a bit disappointing. Yeah.
Well, that's what Marvel does, isn't it? They just blast it and just hit everything. And it's,
Well, this is it. We were saying a couple of weeks ago, we'd reviewed 3 new Spider-Man comics, and each one of them was shit. And even Ben's just said, try to dip back into Spider-Man this week. Absolutely awful. It is. And
the last good one I read was in trade paperback was Spider-Man Life Story. Have you read that one? Where it goes through each kind of generation of his life. That's really good. That's well worth picking up.
Yeah. And then Andy said, problem with Boss Logic covers is that put a silly trade dress on top of a zero thought. Exactly that. So that is all the covers out of the way. The community tab is now live over on YouTube. So you can place your votes, and the winner will win absolutely nothing, but just
bragging rights.
They will be cemented on the Killer Comics Killer Covers Wall of Fame for until next year when we update with new ones.
Yeah, man.
That's basically it. That's basically it. So, shall we get straight into the reviews and then do pickups? Right.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Right. So we are going to review. This is week 48 comics from last week. There were 4 comics up for the vote, and the 2 winners were the Boogyman issue number 3 and the Approach issue number 2. Now, I mentioned this last week. The Boogyman Issue number 3 had a misprint on it, so all the covers that were released had issue number 2 in the bottom right hand corner. So if you was able to pick up one of them, I don't know if it means you've got a collectible in your hands or something like that, or you're just one of them twats that goes around collecting them and saying, I've got the wrong number, I'm going to fluck it on eBay and make loads of money back. But this is it. Boogyman issue number 3 and The Approach issue number 2. Up first, it was Blazes the Boogyman issue number 3, written by Matteo Salvia and art by D Jet. This was released last week, so November 30th. There's 7 covers out, but I've gone for these 4. We've got the main cover by D Jet. We've got the 1 in 10 incentive D Jet Virgin variant cover. We've got the Nate Melendez NYCC variant and cover C by Carlos Nieto variant cover. Pete, as you are on the show as a guest this week, how would you like to go first?
Yeah, sure, mate. Yeah. So I read issues 1 and 2 so that I wasn't kind of lost off with this. And I'm going to absolutely gush. I absolutely loved this. I was totally engaged from start to finish. I loved the kind of the lore it's set up about the Boogeymen and where they've come from and how they get their powers. And I just thought it was tremendous. The artwork was really nice. I enjoyed the artwork. I thought some of the imagery was superb. Some of the imagery in issue 3 in particular was, that one there with him gouging his eyes out and things like that was amazing. It's just a really interesting story. And it felt new to me. It felt like something I hadn't read before. I've read horror stories about boogeymen and things before, but this was kind of establishing a whole mythology and world around them. So I blasted through all 3 issues very, very quickly because I just thoroughly enjoyed it. So really liked it.
Tom?
I love it. Same as Peter though. I had to read issue 2 before I read issue 3. Just because I kind of fell off the. I actually didn't realize it'd come out, if I'm honest. Because we read issue 1, we reviewed issue 1. I didn't realize issue 2 had even hit the shelf. So apologies on that. But I really liked, again, like what Pete said, I liked that it's building on that lore, those kind of, the characters that are within the universe. You get a little bit of a backstory on the main character is it Father Death he's called?
Yeah.
You get a bit of a backstory on him, how the boogeymen become boogeymen. And then you've got this idea there's elders and then there's these youngsters that are attacking the elders. I thought it was a really good story. And I like the relationship between Father Death and the lad. And how he says to him, you can fight these other boogeymen if you just eat one of the little sisters. Yeah. You could beat them. And he's like, well, I don't want to do that. So I'm assuming in the next few issues we'll find out why he doesn't want to eat the little sisters, which I think is really interesting. How they go from eating these little sisters, become these kind of wolf type characters, and these wolf characters then become the boogeymen, and then they get more powerful and stuff. So it was quite an interesting story. I think it's building. And I like that it's kind of building. It's not kind of gone, there you go, and then we'll plateau and then we'll just drop off. It just seems to keep building, and the pace is good. Yeah. And I like the paneling in this. And then, like we said, like Peter said, that second page in with the eye gouging really gave me Game of Thrones vibes. And then the whole story then gave me Game of Thrones vibes. Like, I don't think anybody in this story is safe. Like, not one person is safe. Even the little kid. I mean, the little kid could get killed off in the next issue, and then they'll introduce someone else. But brilliant story. What did you think, Charlie?
I mean, I love this. Like from the start of like all folklore, like the Boogeyman. Like we read The Closet a couple of weeks ago, so it's all kind of telling that story of like when you was growing up as a kid, you believed in Boogeyman, you believed in there was something under your bed or in your wardrobe and stuff like that. This for me is so gritty. The art is. Like I think DJ has smashed it out the park with this. Like it's so gritty, you can kind of feel yourself in the story with like the way that the narrative and the way that the art is done. Like that middle cover there, page there, Tom, I also picked that as well because as soon as I looked at it, I was like, this is the mountain.
Yeah,
gouging the eyes out in Game of Thrones. So there's surely some inspiration taken from there. But it's just wicked. Like I kind of just. From issue number 1, where you kind of feel like you're on the side. Like issue number 1 was freaky. There's 2 people sitting at a bus stop. Yeah. And then they're just like, go in the house and do what you got to do. Kill the parents. Like, I think one of them says like rape the mum or something. Or something stupid.
Like, it's like go in, kill the dad, take the hammer, smash his head in, and then have your way with the wench. It's like, oh God.
It took me a while to realise that the guy with the hammer couldn't see the lady. It was just all in his head and just kind of whispering in his ear kind of thing. Loved it.
I mean, I think this is 6 issues, and I'm really looking forward to it. I like the fact that, like, there's like Game of Thrones vibes, because again, the Ravens have been sent out to kind of be the watchers and give the feedback and find out where they are and stuff. And it's interesting because, as you said, Tom, there's some reason why he doesn't want to eat the little sisters, because is he going to grow to this almighty being that's going to kill everyone and end up killing himself with what he's doing, or is he going to turn on the little kid? I like the fact that the little kid now is kind of becoming really good friends with the wolf. He's kind of got his own watcher now. Like, he knows that his parents have died, and it was quite emotional when Father Death went in to trade over the watch that was his mum or dad's to get money for him, because he was like, look, you're going to need to eat. So there's something coming where Father Death's going to have to leave, and the kid and the dog are going to have to fend for themselves.
So I mean, issue 1 starts, doesn't it, with him in the police station, and there's like a huge dog behind him, and it's massive.
Yeah,
is that the same dog, do we think, or is that a different animal? Because it looks very different.
Dog.
Yeah,
I think it's probably the same dog. That's. Do you think that dog's going to become his protector, his Boogyman? I think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah. I think so. I mean, this is fantastic.
Yeah, definitely, mate. I like the artwork as well, because it very much reminds me of, like, almost like Do you remember League of Legends, the TV show?
Yeah,
it was on Netflix. Yeah. The art style's almost similar to that, so I almost feel like I'm reading a really good animated show. Yeah. And I get the feeling that this Father Death is going to be like, there's a character who I can't remember from some film or something, where it's like, you don't want me to take the genie out of the bottle, because once it comes out of the bottle, I can't put it back. Yeah. And I get the feeling that's what Father Death's going to be like. He's like, I can't eat these little sisters, because as soon as I do, I cannot control myself, and you will probably be on my next kill list.
Because he's not really cut loose yet, has he? He's kind of intimidated and things like that, but we've not seen him like really fight.
No, but I mean, the guy who he comes against underneath the bridge says, like, he helps him out, and he, like, helps him. He's like, you have really let yourself go. But then the youngster says to him, and he's like, do you know who you're messing with? Seriously, this guy's like the worst of the worst. And yet we haven't seen that yet. But I'm guessing we will, hopefully. Yeah.
But I think this guy in the middle, the one who gouges his Danny DeVito's eyes out, he must know something, because he's like, you think he's bad, you haven't seen half of what I can do yet. So this is going to be like a massive battle. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be great, like a great. And as I said, it's 6 issues, and it's a blaze. Again, this is an indie comic that a lot of people wouldn't have known about. But yeah, I mean, it's ironic that a blaze with this comic they're setting the place alight.
Boom.
Oh,
boom. So no, definitely worth picking up this if it is. And I think this would be great as a trade paperback as well.
Yeah.
This would be awesome. So that was a good way to start the show. And then next we had, this was what Andy was kind of vying for, and I think the people on YouTube kind of wanted us to read it as well. This is The Approach, issue number 2 by Boom Studios, written by Jason A. Hurley and the art by Jesus Hervas. Again, this came out last week, so November 30th. Main cover by D-Jet. The 1 in 10 incentive Hutchinson Cates variant cover, and the 1 in 25 Adam Gorham variant cover as well.
She's a talented artist, isn't she? Kate,
yeah. I mean, this is. Who wants to take this away? Because I've got some things to say on this. Tom, do you want to go first?
Yeah. Okay. So I didn't read issue 1, so I had to read issue 1 and 2 back to back, and I massively from the get-go got Die Hard 2 vibes right from the get-go, and I don't know whether it's just because it was set at an airport and it was snowing,
and it's Christmas.
But I did get my heart kind of went in my mouth a little bit, because it starts off with talking about a firefighter, and I thought, is this going to be a bit too close to home for me? Is this going to be something that I might come across or have already come across? Obviously it's not, because it turns into there's like monsters and shit, which I definitely haven't had to do. Well, there are some monsters out there. But so I thought the story in issue 1 was really good, but we're not here to review issue 1. Issue 2 builds up from issue 1, where you have the creature has killed this woman, and like this plane has crash landed, and they don't know where the plane's gone. The plane's been gone for 20 odd years. So they build up from that. And I kind of felt like this issue, I wouldn't say it was a filler. I wouldn't say a filler issue, but this was definitely a character building issue for me. Like, you build on this Mac character, who's the main firefighter guy. You build up on him being this strong kind of, almost like Ripley from Alien. Like, he's been put in the situation. He's got to handle it, and he's got to look after everyone else. You get the feeling his kind of subordinate, the young black firefighter, that she's going to be the one that's going to keep all the glue together. And then you get the gay police officers. They, you kind of get their bit of their backstory, and then you get a bit of a backstory about the guy in the wheelchair who's in the kind of control room. You get all of that, but that's basically all that happens in this book. Is you get a lot of character building, which is brilliant for an issue 2. I just didn't get at the end of the issue. I was kind of like, I kind of want a little bit more, and they do give you that by getting them all tooled up. You're like, yeah, brilliant. They're going to go and hunt the monsters. So I'm looking forward to issue 3. But issue 1 was solid. Issue 2 didn't build as much as I thought it would. But I am on for issue 3, and I did think it was a killer. So it's not nowhere near as bad as some of the books we've read. And I actually thought it was all right, to be fair. So what do you guys think?
Now, Pete, do you want to go? Because I know you did send me a slide of issue 1.
Yeah.
Right. So that was the slide you sent me, right? Of issue 1.
Yeah. So I think perhaps this suffered because I read it directly after I'd read 3 issues of the Boogyman. So I was blown away by Boogyman, and then I read this and I thought, yeah, it's okay. It didn't like, I think exactly, Tom, I got Die Hard vibes. I also got John Carpenter's The Thing. That kind of narrative,
That's one I was thinking of. I couldn't remember the name of the movie.
Yeah. So the thing in issue 1, which I can't get my head around, is if you go back and have a look at the first panel where you're introduced to the female firefighter there, she's eating a heart. That's a heart. And I cannot work out what that doesn't, because I thought, is she going to be a monster or something? But I've zoomed in repeatedly to try and figure out what the hell it is. And it looks like a heart she's got in her hand.
Yeah, it does look like a heart.
Well, when in that first issue, just go back to that. Sorry to interrupt, Peter, but when I read that first issue, I thought she was a paramedic.
Yeah.
And that's what they were doing. They were going to put a heart in a box, put it in a plane, and take it somewhere.
Maybe. Yeah.
But then that's not what happens. Like, she's, like you said, it's like a lunchbox, and she's eating it.
So I was kind of going into issue 2 thinking, is there going to be some big reveal with her that she's linked somehow? I don't know. You're right. It was slow paced. We saw the monster a little bit. I wasn't blown away by the imagery of the monster. Certainly later on in the book, it didn't. I don't know. It didn't look particularly well drawn and scary to me. Later on, the first time you meet him when he's kind of attacking her, I thought that was pretty good. It felt like a setup issue to me. So whilst it didn't blow us away, I am intrigued enough to get the next issue and see what happens next. But I can't say it lit us on fire. But
no. Just before we start, Charlie, can I just say, on the panel I've picked, the one in the middle, I've just realised it's really lazy artwork, actually, because the panels 4 and 5 are exactly the same. 3 and 4 exactly the same as 6 and 7 at the bottom.
Yeah,
when they could have really changed his hand position and maybe moved his head back. So it obviously he's taken the tablets twice, but they didn't need to repeat the same paneling. Anyway, sorry, go on, Charlie. You carry on, mate. Apologies.
So what I'm saying, similar to what Peter said, after reading the Boogyman and then reading this, I was on a horror fest. I was like, right, what else can I read? What else can I read and get into and stuff? This for me, John Carpenter all the way through, but I also got like the likes of The Fog, The Mist, like the whole setup. Like with my job, I spend the majority of the time in airports. So I was kind of like feeling like this could actually happen. Do you know what I mean? Like I've been on planes where it's landed and it's been snowing and stuff like that, and you kind of don't know where you're going to go next. I do think though, I think it's ironic that it's called The Approach, because I think this comic is building, it is approaching to something big.
Yeah.
And I think, we're kind of setting up we're getting to know the characters and stuff like that. I was also very confused about, is she eating a heart? Is she putting a heart in a box? Because when you look at it, she's like talking to herself. She's going over her like roles and responsibilities and the numbers of what everything. And then as soon as Mac walks in, she kind of swiftly puts it into the box and kind of turns. So is she hiding something? Is that going to tie into this issue? But this issue, it is. I think it's. I'm very invested in this very early on because I kind of want to see where this is going. Like, I'm very, very interested to see what the hell's happening. I kind of get it, like it's been 20 years if they've been locked in a Bermuda Triangle or something else like that. So there's different forces that are going to have different elements in this comic and like tell the end story and stuff. So I'm looking forward to it. But I've got to say that the antagonist, like the villain in it, like the monster and stuff like that, it wasn't as scary. I think it was trying to be something like one of the monsters out of Something Is Killing the Children, and it didn't quite do that.
No, because
I kind of got Something's Killing the Children vibes from the monster. I also got like Signs, the Mel Gibson film, where the alien gets what is he? Is he sucking the life out of his son or daughter? Like the way he's holding her over. I kind of got similar vibes from that. But it's a good setup comic. It's ironic that the approach for this is pretty good. So I'm glad Andy chose it.
It's interesting, mention like you said, Die Hard and things like that, because the way I've read it up to this issue too, it's almost like a screenplay for a movie. Do you know what I mean? You could see this made into a pretty formulaic, action film. But it's interesting enough, isn't it?
And look what Andy said. He said, I think this will be another indie book that is best read in trade format.
Yeah, I agree.
And also, are the antagonists the workers in the airport and the victims are the monsters? Think about it, mind blown. Like, why would you drop something like that? This is like, okay.
So, do we think there's more than one monster? Because you don't see him eat the body of the woman that he tore apart in the first book, but we know that the first monster came from the body of the person that they brought in. So are there now two monsters?
So I assumed that the lady had turned, like a vampire bite, had turned into a monster. But then when they said, "Oh, it ate her," I thought, "Oh, well, maybe they saw something off panel we didn't see," or
maybe.
Yeah,
there are a couple of things in here that are really good attention to the details, and there's some lack of attention to detail as well. Like, so from a firefighter point of view, there's a fair few things that they say and reference that you would only know if you were a firefighter,
right?
Which is quite good. And then the tool that she's holding in her hand on the far hand panel is actually a firefighting medium tool that you wouldn't really know about unless you're a firefighter. So that's fair play to that. But then there are other things like I said on my panel where they've repeated themselves, and it's a little bit like the attention to detail's not quite there.
Just out of interest, being a fireman, do they normally have cupboards full of shotguns and machine guns and things like that? Is that normal in your fire station? Or?
Not at our station, but I'm pretty sure if you go to London Airport or Manchester Airport, yes, indeed.
Wow.
Yeah, look, and Andy's just said, great discussion. Knew this would get the juices flowing. I also think it got Mac's juices flowing as well, because if you look at panel number 1, his juices are flowing all over his boat race, in the sink, everywhere. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And I hadn't read issue number 1, and I know Andy had been shouting it from the rooftops. I hadn't read it, so I enjoyed reading issue number 1 and issue number 2. But if issue number 3 doesn't come out within the next couple of weeks, I'm going to have to go back and read them again. And I think that could be a tiresome task, thinking, there's not much happening in issue 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
So now I've got to go, which is why I think it will be better as a trade paperback.
Yeah, and I do think that had I not read the Boogyman, I would have probably sung this one's praises more.
Yeah. But you right there, Tommy? I got to shoot off yet, have you, mate?
No, it's all right, mate. I'd forgotten to turn the heater off.
Oh,
and I'm starting to boil a little bit now.
That's all right. You went as red as your jumper. That's all good.
I did.
So yeah, I think it's safe to say that the Boogyman is out there. Really good comic. This one, I think it's got a lot to live up to. I think it's going to happen. I think it's going to get good. I don't know, Andy, if you can tell us in the chat if it's 5, 6, or 8 issues, or it might be a 12. But I definitely think it's a slow burner. But I am interested to see how it pans out.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. Definitely.
So with that said, that's the review of the comics. Oh no, I don't like that. There we go. That's the one. Too much of me.
I like that. That's my favourite part of the show.
So this is where we normally hand over to Andy, and Andy goes on for about 45 minutes telling us how much he's picked up and how much he's spent on eBay and stuff like that. But Tom, I think you've got some pickups for once, haven't you?
I have, mate. Yeah, I got some really good bags and boards. They're the best bags and boards I've bought for a long time. So as you can see, it's a really, really nice bag that you can get from your local comic book shop, and you can get your boards to go in your bags, which you can also get from your local comic shop.
So in next week, are you getting the comics to go in them?
Yeah, next week there'll be some books. No, seriously, I got some bits this week. So I got some bits from Galactic Comics.
Night, Ben.
Night, Ben.
Peter be up shortly to tuck you in.
Just took you your milk. Yeah.
Kitty, warm kitty, little ball of fur.
It's all kicking off now. Sweet dreams, Benjamin. There we go. Night, Ben.
Night, Ben.
There we go. I can just picture him now, dressed as Ebenezer Scrooge with his little candle going upstairs.
Yeah, like a little lantern.
Just hanging over. Anyway, Tom, back to your bags and boards.
Yeah, so I actually did get some comics this week from Galactic Comics. So I got the Deceased issue 4 for the World of the Undead Gods, but it's the Dan Mora cover. So he's doing these homage covers for these. They've been pretty cool so far. I don't think this is my favorite, but I quite like it. And they're all linked in together. They're like, do you remember the X-Men Jim Lee book? Yeah. With where you got Magneto in this kind of position, and then it kind of spans out as one. So it's those. He's doing those, but on Deceased. So it's pretty cool. I also
Deceased's been a phenomenal series, isn't it?
Oh, it's wicked.
Mate. Tom Taylor knows what he's doing, doesn't he? In a way.
Yeah.
It's so good. I mean, Deceased, is it Dead Planet when they come back? That's probably one of my favorite books of last year, to be honest. I also got the Superman Kal-El Return special, but the Spawn variant, which is also by Dan Mora.
Oh, that's nice.
It is nice. It would have been my cover pick last week, but I chose J. Scott Campbell instead.
Why would you have done
that? Do you know what? I don't know why, because this is a much better cover.
Do you know what would have been really good, right? So you know where it says DC Image?
Yeah.
If for that variant cover, if they'd just taken the dot off the eye and replaced it with the DC logo.
Do you know what? They probably have discussed it, but they can't. You can't squish the DC logo.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be. Well, I mean, that's a fucking great idea, to be honest. They should have done it.
You know.
But
copyright,
going back to what you said about
that one for free.
Oh yeah. Going back to what you said about the cardstock variant. These are cardstock variants, so they feel amazing compared to the J. Scott Campbell covers I've got for Marvel, which are on shit paper. But they're J. Scott Campbell. So I've got Avengers issue 1 and the J. Scott Campbell variant.
Can you send me the link for that? Because that's amazing.
It is good.
Yeah.
It's good. I mean, shout John up, mate. He'll get it for you. But this is the one that they've got. I don't know if you can see, it's the old pop kind of style, but then it mixes into the normal kind of style in places, which is quite nice. And then he's done the same on the most recent Fantastic Four issue 1.
Nice.
Which is awesome as well. And it's nice to see him not just drawing women. So you've got obviously Mr. Fantastic and the Human Torch and the Thing, which is quite nice. Because all you ever do is see J. Scott Campbell do pin-ups, which is nice. Not can get a bit boring after a while.
No, it can be. But
that's me. And next week I plan on filling this with something.
Peter, what have you got for us, you lovely man?
A few bits and bobs. So you mentioned Liverpool Comic Con. So just to show you this, I picked up. I'm a big toy fan, as you know. So I picked up a Generation 1 Soundwave with Laserbeak, and also came with Ravage. So so rather pleased with that. It's only missing his guns and his cannons. So I need to try and find them.
I'm not sure if Tom's froze or he's just having a moment.
I think I'm having a moment, mate. I always wanted a Soundwave when I was a kid. Wow. I had not full Prime, but I never had a Soundwave.
So I never had a sound. So I've got my Prime because I love Prime's my favorite. I wanted a Soundwave, and I picked up. I haven't posted it yet. But I picked up Generation 1 Megatron, and the gun.
You're not allowed to take those onto. He's like banned on airplanes. You cannot take a Megatron Transformer on an airplane because he is a licensed gun.
Yeah, and it looks like a proper. It's
because he looks like a proper gun when you transform him into the it's a German Luger. Is it?
Yeah, it's a Luger.
When you transform him, he looks like a proper gun. So he's banned on all flights.
Yeah.
Anywhere.
It's tremendous. He's very, very nice.
There we go.
So,
Peter just
pick
tickled
that one.
Tom's big rig with that pickup.
Absolutely.
You guys have been talking about this one for a while, so I thought I'll pick that up. Haven't read that yet, so pick that up to have a bit of a read.
Yeah.
It's a real thought provoker.
Yeah. And I know last week you were saying that it kind of not dipped, but but I'll have a go.
Is that the second print?
No, it's the first print.
Wow, lovely.
Yeah, gotta be the first print.
Lovely.
And then I picked up a sad lemon variant pack. So I'll just blast through these. I don't know what half them are.
We know who that is.
Is that Sabine?
No, that's what's her name?
Peach Mogo, isn't it? Peach.
I thought that's Sabine Rich.
No, I don't think that's Peach Momoko. That's what's her name? Rose Besh.
Besh, Rose Besh. I'm thinking of Rose Besh, but I said
love
Sabine
Rose
Rich.
Besh.
Yeah. Rose Besh. That is it. Yeah.
Oh, that one.
Oh,
It's
look at that.
Spider-Man Miles Morales. Got a few copies of this one. That's a nice one. I'll probably be giving most of these away on my channel because I don't tend to keep them. That's quite a nice one.
That's a cool one.
That was one of our exclusives.
Is that Carnage and Gwenham?
Carnage and Gwenham, yeah.
Mary Jane Carnage and Spider-Man.
Yeah. I will keep this one because I love it. It's a turtle.
Nice.
That is
Quite
wicked.
a nice one.
Yeah.
Mikey, is it?
Yeah.
It's Mike. Yeah. We got that.
That's
These are reasonable price as well.
That's Shannon Mayer.
That is, Shannon Mayer. Yeah.
That's Shannon Mayer.
Small. We got that.
Oh, look, so's a my car.
That's Harley Quinn.
That's Harley Quinn. And that.
That is, do you know who that is? That's what's his name.
She literally, I've got that.
What's his name? That is.
I got that.
Charlie. Catwoman. Christ, man. Do you read comics?
I can't think of his name.
That's Meghan Markle.
I know it's Catwoman. Meghan Markle.
Don't like that one. Not a fan of that. That's a Moon Knight.
Knight.
But I love this one. That one's really nice.
That's wicked.
Yeah, that's quality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a nice one. Amazing Spider-Man #1. And I picked this up. Came the other day. This is from Andy at Comics. Andy. And this is
Andy's fault
for a while.
Yeah.
This is the Mask promo issue. 9.8. Got this from Andy. Did us a fantastic deal on it. So over the moon to have that because I've got Mask issue 1, but I haven't got this one. Well, I have now. So yeah, over the moon with that one. So thank you very much, Andy, for sorting that one for us, mate.
That's quality, mate. I like that.
That was bloody lovely. That was you've had some good pickups there, haven't you?
Yeah, some nice bits and bobs.
You really, really have. I'm literally scared to show off mine now. But what I'd like you to do, Pete, if you can drop your link to your channel.
Andy's dropped it, mate, in the chat.
Look at that.
Thank you. Cheers, Andy.
You've had some good pickups this week, lads. I'm gonna I've got for the last couple of weeks I've done like charity shop finds and stuff.
It's a great
and
idea.
Again, so my little boy's school is literally up the road, and they've got it's called like the Greenleaf Cafe, like the pop-in cafe. You can go there when like you're waiting to pick the kids up from school and stuff. And it was absolutely bucketing it down the other day, and I was sitting in there having a hot chocolate with the youngest, and they've got like a little bookshelf over there, and I just literally picked up one of them to like read, and then when I took it back, I noticed a sign on there that said all books £1 or a donation. So I was like, all right, let me have a look. So I managed to pick up this bad boy.
Ooh, nice. Yeah.
Right. And this is DC Comics Year by Year, a visual chronicle with 2 exclusive prints. Unfortunately, it didn't come with a print, but
I'm trying to smash on it.
Look at that.
Nice. Yeah.
And like the artwork
for £1, you can't go wrong, really, mate.
Yeah, I mean, that's where the print should have been. But I mean, like some of it is just fantastic. Like I quite like these encyclopedia things. I mean, look, like the raw images of like imagining Superman and stuff. Yeah. So that was. I think I picked up all of these for like £3. So I got that, and I got this.
Oh, nice.
Showcase. This is a hefty book. So this is over. What is it? It's over 500 pages of comics. Right. Literally, and this is old school. I mean, this goes for £23, and this was £1.50, and this is old school comics.
Nice. You can colour it in, mate.
Yeah, that's just thinking that.
But then when I see that one, I thought,
get some crayons.
There we go. Brave and Bold Batman team ups. Again, another 500 pages
what
of comics.
Copperhead doing to Batman?
Yeah, that's filth.
Yeah.
Give us a cuddle, mate. That's what they locally call near me a struggle cuddle.
I mean, these are old school. I mean, you've got like some stuff by Neil Adams in there and everything. Like, so there's some fantastic stuff.
Another colouring book.
And it smells authentic, old school. Yes.
It's got a good scent. Has it got a good sniff to it?
It has got a fantastic scent. It has. Yeah.
I never find anything in charity books.
And what scent?
But yeah, look, they're all taking the book out, mate. It says, look, what is it? I got a cool Fathom book from eBay this week.
Nice.
And then Andy's saying, he calls it charity shop finds, but is he really just raiding the local library? Is that a DK book? No, it's not Donkey Kong. It's actually DC. And DK history books are pretty decent. But that's not all. That's not all. I kind of Sad Lemon had their Black Friday sale. So I kind of was like, I'll have a little spend up on there. So I picked up this one.
Oh, nice.
I love those magazine covers. I think they're really like decent, to be fair.
Natalie Sanders is the girl for me. Like, these are fantastic. These I'm going to send all of these off to CGC. So we've got that.
Good call.
We've got that one.
Oh, nice. I like that.
And there we go. And then we got this one.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Now that I've started watching the wrestling, Charlie, that looks like Becky Lynch.
Yes, Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch. And then, another Natalie Sanders. Why not? There we go.
Nice.
Harley Quinn, the Eat, Bang, Kill tour. Based on the
very nice positioning.
TV show. And then to finish it off, Mr. Warren Lowe.
No, that's Harley Quinn.
Yeah, no.
Well, maybe Warren Lowe and lipstick. I don't know.
Warren Lowe rubs up well, mate.
So all of them, I'm going to send off to CGC, and I look forward to getting back what I've got. It is what it is. Nice. But yeah, so yeah, that was the pickups. We had some fantastic pickups there.
Yeah, man.
Very, very, very good.
I think the back and boards are the best one though.
Oh yeah,
100%,
definitely,
100%. So back to the show. The killer indie pick of this week. So Andy's chosen this one. He has gone for Image Nightclub issue number 1, written by Mark Miller, art by Joanan Ramirez, cover price of $1.99. Distributor SKU is not allowed to say that because he gets the ump, and it's available in shops in December the 14th. Now, this I haven't heard of this again, and it's up to Andy to surprise me as he always does. And this series will be $1.99. Take that, Marvel and DC. Boom. Straight for the jugular.
No, it's Image. Sorry.
I don't know what to do. Dick. You're 17 years old and you've been bitten by a vampire. Do you live in the shadows and drink human blood, or do you use your newfound gifts for the dream costume superhero life you've always wanted? You're bulletproof, you can crawl up walls, and you can turn to mist, bats, or even a wolf. Why not have a little fun? This just sounds like they are poking fun at Marvel and DC at any expense. I'm looking forward to reading this.
That's really interesting, because I've just been I do a show with Efren from San Diego, where we're picks for the months coming up. Mm-hmm. And there's a Marvel book coming out, which is very similar premise, which is about all of the Marvel vampires forming like a superhero team. And that's going to be I think it's crossing over into various issues, but similar kind of theme to that, really. These will do it better, I'm sure.
This seems like they're not pulling any punches here. Like, literally, the synopsis is take that, Marvel and DC. Yeah. So I think
that's more to do with the price tag, but I think you're right in the fact that they're saying, like, what if you were a superhero? What if you were a vampire? What if you were 17 years old? Basically, everything that Marvel and DC write about rolled into one book, which is really cool. Mm-hmm. I think Mark Miller's a great writer.
Yeah.
So big
I have high hopes.
So yeah, this one will be $1.99 and it will be out next week. So yeah, if you are into vampires,
I have to say that second cover looks stunning. I really like that one.
Yeah, I like that.
It does look good. But yeah, I'm looking forward to reading that. It looks quite freaky. Nice one, Andy. Picking another fantastic one as usual.
Andy's just dropped in the chat that it's already been optioned as a movie.
Really?
Yeah.
What the hell already? Bloody hell.
It's Mark Miller, isn't it? I suppose anything for him will go up on Netflix.
I was going to say, has he still got that deal with Netflix where all of his stuff goes?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I think what was the that comic we read, like the old school James Bond type of esque.
King of Spies.
Yeah.
What was that?
King of Spies.
Yes, King of Spies. That's already been optioned as well for Netflix.
Yeah,
so
I can't wait. That's going to be amazing.
It'd be interesting to see who they get to play him.
Oh, mate, Henry Cavill every day.
That'd be good, wouldn't it? That'd be good. That would be good.
Mind you, he's probably too young actually to play that particular character.
Millerworld, yeah, that's it. That's probably what it'd be a ride at Disney in a couple of years. Go on Millerworld. Wow.
He will be a ride.
No, that will be a ride. Or whatever. You know the conspiracy.
Who knows? Hasn't he, bless him?
So this is the killer picks for. So Tom, last week you smashed it right apart with the Pokemon Violet and Scarlet Gaming. This week you've gone with old school, mate.
Yeah, so I've gone back a little bit because since the tragic passing of Frank Jr. Sorry, what's his first name? Jason Frank Jr., who recently passed away. He played the Green Ranger in the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers back when I was a kid, and he was my massive inspiration. And of course, I'm called Tom. So whenever I played with my friends and we played Power Rangers, I was always the Green Ranger because I was called Tom. So I always kind of looked up to him. So when I found out he'd passed, I went through my comic collection and I was like, what have I got that I can read? So I ended up going back to this. And this is written by Ryan Parrott. And the artwork's by Simon DeMeo, who we have talked about quite a few times on the show. He's a great artist. But I don't think we've ever reviewed a Ryan Parrott book. But if you go back and watch some of Charlie's early shows, there's a couple of shows where me and Charlie and GP Venom discuss Ryan Parrott's Mighty Morphin Power Rangers series. And he's an amazing writer for that particular genre. This series basically covers what happens if Tommy was to come to where the Ninja Turtles are. I think it's New York where Ninja Turtles are based. And he comes to New York to help find a friend of his who's joined the Foot Clan. And then everything spirals out of control. The Shredder gets hold of the Dragon Coin, becomes the Green Shred Ranger. And then the Turtles turn up and then they become Power Rangers. And it just kicks off. And it's a really fun standalone book. And I thought it was amazing. And then to my delight, I found out last month that they are doing volume 2. So if you haven't read this and would like to read it, I recommend you go and get it from your local comic shop. It is a trade paperback. So it's about $9.99, $10.99, depending on where you go. And then if you love it, book in and get issued volume 2. That's what I would recommend. I will be getting volume 2 because it is amazing. And some of the covers are done by Dan Mora. So obviously I was sold on that. And he designed one of the... I don't want to spoil it for you, but with the Megazord being one of the main characters, there is another Zord that is introduced in the book, and Dan Mora designed that, so it's worth picking up for that.
I'm loving that first cover because that's the same color palette as the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles one, is it?
Yeah.
I need a lesson at some point from you, Tom, on Power Rangers because I'm naive to Power Rangers, but I want to start reading some of the books.
Well, maybe Andy can join in as well because he's just said Power Rangers, Funkos, and wrestling. I know equal amounts of nothing about any of these things. Yeah. Am I missing out? Yeah, I think you are. And do you know what I like about this is obviously you've got Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but they also did a crossover where Batman joined the Power Rangers, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as well.
With Tinian wrote that one.
Yeah. And then they've done a Scooby-Doo one with Batman and stuff like that. So these crossovers are great because they're like your childhood cartoon characters you're growing up with and then they're coming to life. But this is one of my favourite Mighty Morphin Power Rangers comics. The fact that it's done like flawlessly, they're just crossing over and then the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles get the powers of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and they get... It's wicked. It's such a great story.
But Ryan Parrott does such a great job in this particular book showing off their similarities. So like... You look at Tommy as the Green Ranger. He's kind of the anti-hero. And then he meets with Raph. And it's like you get Raph and Tommy are the same character. Yeah. But Raph also have the tendencies of Jason. And it's really clever how they do it. And then Leonardo's got the tendencies of Billy, even though Billy's not the leader. And it's really cool how they work it all out. It is the Mikey and I think is it Zach who plays he's the Black Ranger.
Yeah.
They have this whole thing where they have a quip off on their comedy value. It's brilliant. It's a great read.
So yeah, this I think this came out in 2020.
It did, mate. Yeah, it's been out for a long time.
Yeah, so definitely. But I never knew that cover, the black and white edition, and I'm assuming that the whole comic
for the trade paperback. So
and I'm assuming that the whole comic is in black and white.
I don't know. Probably could be.
I mean, it says black and white edition. I mean, I'd definitely pick that one up. I definitely would. Would love to do that. So yeah, I've gone for Wednesday.
Oh, mate, please sell it to me. I've been trying to sell it to one. Actually, do you know what? I'm going to text my missus and tell her to start watching the show because she won't watch this. So I'm going to get you to sell it.
So obviously, Killer Picks. Now we've all decided that it doesn't have to be comics. We all collect. We all collect like collectibles and comics and play games and we're into different stuff. So we've kind of opened it up and thought, right, what's your Killer Pick this week? It might be something that you're watching, might be something that you're playing, might be something that you're taking part in. Wednesday for me. Me and the missus finished it off last week, and it is, if you love the Addams Family growing up, it's fantastic. Like, Netflix are just killing it at the moment with what they're putting out. They're churning out loads of stuff, but the majority of it, 9 times out of 10, the stuff that they're putting out is shit hot. Like, and it's from the creative mind of Tim Burton. He's got the fantastic actress who's on everything at the moment. She was in the TV series You, which absolutely blew up. It's Jenny Ortega, but she's fantastic as Wednesday Addams. And now that I've watched this, I can't see Christina Ricci as Wednesday anymore. Right. I can only see Jenny Ortega, and this is wicked. It's 8 episodes, about 46 to 52 minutes long. It's a rated 12, and it basically tells the story of Wednesday from the Addams Family, and she's kind of set up on her own. She's kind of, in the first episode, she does what she does, and then she ends up at Nevermore Academy, and it kind of just tells the story of her growing up and finding herself and stuff like that. But it's a really, really quality, freaky TV series that I was literally, when I first see this and heard the premise of it, I was like, this is the Addams Family. It's going to be about the Addams Family. So I think one of the first posters they released was the top one here. And you kind of think, well, it's the Addams Family. And there's some really, really good callbacks to the old school Addams Family. There's some nice, really, really good Easter eggs. And it's Tim Burton. Like, he's really done well on this. Yeah, he's really, really done well on this. And it's fantastic. There is some talk about this, and like there has been some bad press about it, that in one of the scenes, in one of the episodes, Jenny Ortega actually had COVID. And she filmed the scene while having COVID, while surrounded by people. So there was kind of getting bad press about it. But I think for a TV series like this, with the history of the Addams Family and everything like that, any press was going to be good press. But this TV series is, if you ain't watching it, if anyone in the chat ain't watching it yet, jump on it. It's wicked. It's an easy watch. 8 episodes. They're an hour each. It's wicked.
I'm up to episode 4. Me, my son, and my wife are watching it. Initially, I thought it was a bit too kind of teen Riverdale kind of thing. Yeah. But it's got some real gruesome bits in it. And I have to say, as the episodes have gone on, I've absolutely fallen in love with her in particular. I have to say, I think she's phenomenal in it. So I am really enjoying it.
But yeah, Tom, definitely speak to Charlotte and get to watch it.
Well, I've wanted to watch it for a little while because I've read a really interesting article where I got the name of the lady who played the original Wednesday, who you just said, and I've forgotten straight off the bat.
Christina Ricci.
She talks about how Jenny Ortega has basically created a new version of Wednesday and made it her own, to the point where she's picked up mannerisms from the original Wednesday, but made them her own. And she's like, the character doesn't belong to me anymore. The character belongs to Jenny Ortega. Like, she's done an amazing job. And then I read along with that article, I read about the hand. And it's the first time they've done it in a movie for a very long time, where they've actually used it's an actor's hand. And he's in a blue suit. And he's got a little like puppet thing to control the nub end, as it were. But the whole hand is an actual hand. It's not CGI whatsoever. And I read that Tim Burton tried so hard through the whole series to do everything as animatronics or real life props, because that's just what it's more real life. And I think that's absolutely amazing, and that will come into what we're about to talk about in a bit, I suppose. Real life. But yeah,
what a segue. No, what a segue, Tom. So obviously, that's the killer picks and stuff. Pete, have you got any killer picks that you kind of want to shout about, like what you're doing or anything?
I mean, I guess what. Sorry,
make that man big.
Make him big. Give him a rub. There we go.
I guess what I would say is one of the things I've been reading recently that I've just kind of blasted through 9 issues of is the Marvel Punisher series. I don't know if you guys have read that. Absolutely amazing.
Is that the new one with him being the leader of the Hand?
Yeah. It's totally taken me by surprise. It's a long time since I've read regular Marvel comics. And this is brilliant. It's gruesome. It's gritty. It's a very different take on the Punisher. I'm in a bit of a Punisher kind of thing mood at the moment. I'm catching up on season 2 of the Netflix show. I hadn't seen that, so I'm working my way through that. But yeah, it's phenomenal. So if you're not reading Punisher, I would pick that up.
But if you like your Punisher, like your gruesome stuff, you should read like Punisher Max.
Yeah.
Because some of that stuff is.
And I love Punisher versus the Marvel Universe. That original one where he takes out everybody is amazing.
Yeah, because they tried to do that with Deadpool, didn't they? They tried to recreate with Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe and stuff like that, but that was kind of like toned down and stuff. But yeah, so onto the segue that we was talking about. So now we are here at the Killer Comic Show topic table, right? Tom, I had to change this up a little bit, which is why I wanted it. I wanted to make these bigger because this is fantastic work that you've done here. So just a massive shout out to Tom. So Tom created these Lego characters from scratch, rendered them from scratch, and I just wanted to make them big and say massive kudos to you, because these are wicked. So on the topic table this week, and I know it's hot off the press because Tom, you wanted to talk about it. Peter wanted to talk about it.
Peter emailed me about it, and Andy asked me, spoke to us about it weeks ago. So yeah, it's been hot on the press for some time.
Yeah, Tom, look, Peter's putting, Andy's putting more work your way. There we go.
That's fine. I'll do one.
There we go.
They don't do a Lego body my size, Tom. That's the issue.
Like Legos are gender neutral and not body conscious, so it doesn't really matter.
So on that, talking about gender neutral and body conscious, the topic of the week, right, is comic book creators react to AI, artificial intelligence, art explosion. I've got a lot to say about this, but Pete, this was your topic that you wanted to go on, so you can please take it away.
Yeah, so I was very naive to this until I saw loads of things starting to come up on Instagram this week and last week, I think, with a lot of people kind of showing images of themselves rendered by this AI program. And then a good friend of mine, Kev, who's an artist, started putting posts up saying, please be very cautious of this. This is taking away work from artists and things. So did a little bit of digging into it and read a few articles, and it's terrifying. I mean, it's quite scary, I think. So I think it kind of came to the forefront where there was an image put on, wasn't there, of it on Stephen King's page, and it was an AI rendered image of the Pennywise clown on a bike created by AI, and everybody said, oh, this is fantastic and blah blah blah. And then someone clocked that at the bottom corner of the image there's a signature. So, and it's not the AI signature, obviously. So it's the one of the artists that have been used to compose this image is their work, really. And yeah, so I guess this is a process where the AI looks at thousands, millions of images and creates its own artwork.
Yeah. And
I was talking to, some of the artist colleagues, and they were saying, at what point does that stop? So in the future, will Marvel just stop employing artists? They'll press a button with some key phrases in Spider-Man fighting Green Goblin, whatever, and this stuff just pumps out imagery. I don't know. It's just a little bit worrying, I think, from an artist point of view. I mean, Tom's an artist, obviously, so I guess this is a lot of people starting to worry about livelihoods being taken away and things like that. So yeah, that's what I was thinking about it.
Tom?
Yeah, I mean, it could get very deep. I've always seen art or creativity as a way of communication. My degree was in visual communication, so drawing, animation, I find it all of a way of communicating. Just because we now have a machine that can talk doesn't mean us artists should fucking stop talking. Just because we're being put out by an AI. I think I've got twofold to it. So I actually, after having a bit of research and looking into it, my opinion's changed. When I first found out about it, I was really angry. And I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe I'm possibly going to lose my job as a graphic designer and as an artist. And what about all those people that went to university and learned how to do their craft. They're literally being replaced by a machine. But then I thought about it, and if you look at the medical profession, or you look at like a detective, they are going to be replaced at some point by AI, because a machine is more precise, it's more efficient, it can do things cheaper and faster than you can. And unfortunately, we are going to end up in a world where there are no jobs because AI does it all. So we've kind of got to go with that. Do I like the idea of it? No, I don't. Do I kind of get behind it? No, not really. Because I think as an artist, if you let an AI do your art for you, you're going to take the characteristics away from that art piece. That soul is gone because there is no soul to that artwork. You've taken loads of people's artwork, amalgamate it together to make something, quite spectacular, but it's got no personality behind it.
Yeah.
And although it's going to happen in the future, at the moment, you can take it. You put in like the key phrases, or what I can't remember what they call them, prompts. You put in the prompts, and it will shit out something that's amazing, but it won't do the same thing if you ask him the same thing again. So if you wanted to create a comic book out of it, you couldn't say Spider-Man fighting Green Goblin on New York skyscraper and then be like Spider-Man battling Green Goblin on the New York bridge, because you might get a different Spider-Man or a different version of Green Goblin. And you've got to keep going at it. So you could spend 2 or 3 hours going through these prompts just to get the image you want, where actually you probably could have just done it by drawing it. But then, not everyone is able to draw, but I would say if you're not able to draw, learn to draw. It's not a skill you're born with. You have to, you work at it like everybody. I mean, you didn't learn to, weren't born walking. You had to learn to walk. You had to learn to drive. Do you know what I mean? It's that kind of thing. I hate the idea that when people are like, oh, you're an artist, you must, you're very talented. You must be born with it. No, I've worked hard to get where I am, to do what I do. But I've kind of digressed a little bit. But the idea of the AI is like, I don't think it can do panel work, as it were. So it'll never be able to create a comic at the moment, but that will be the future. It will do sequential artwork. But if you think about it like this, as an artist, when I first stopped and I first left uni, I wanted to write my own comic book and I wanted to draw my own comic book. But I'm not very good at writing, and trying to put my ideas together to be able to write a comic book, I'd find very difficult. So I would wanted to employ someone to do it for me, and that would have cost me an arm and a leg, and it almost did, but I didn't do it. But on the flip side to that, if a writer wants an artist and can't afford it, they kind of don't go to an artist. They kind of just don't do it, and then their book doesn't get made. Well, what AI is going to give now is that if there's a writer and he's struggling, but he doesn't want to pay an artist to do his artwork, he can just do the prompts and get a decent piece of artwork for his cover. And vice versa for an artist. They can go on an AI and find an AI writer to write their book for them. So, it could be used for good in that way, like helping the little man. But you just know that it's going to be used for bad by people like Disney or Marvel or DC that are just going to get rid of artists and let the AI do all the cover artwork and never have to pay cover price again, which is really frustrating because that will happen, I think, eventually.
Yeah.
Anyway, rant over. Charlie?
You're on mute.
He's on mute, yeah.
That's right. See, that was the AI kicking in. Right. So I'm on the other side of the fence for this because it's all progression. Like, you start off as an artist doing stickmen, and then you progress into getting better and doing stuff and fantastic stuff. This is just a natural progression of the way that the world's evolving.
Yeah.
For me, that's fine. If you're an artist, you kind of use the tools that you've got in front of you. Take Carla Cohen, for instance. She's got iPads and everything, digital ways to enable to work, but she sticks to paints and oils and stuff. This is just evolving. I mean, in 2003 or before then, when the film Minority Report came out, everyone was watching it going, oh my God, technology. Oh my God, I'm so scared of it. I'm never going to have a touch screen where I'm going to be able to do that. Now everyone's got iPads. Everyone's got touchscreen phones. Everyone can't go 2 or 3 minutes without looking at a digital platform of some sort. This is just evolving in that. And again, it goes back. If you're an artist and you've got a deadline to meet, if you can put in prompts to a thing that's going to help you get to where you've got to get to quicker, to enable you to do more in less time, it's a positive thing, no? My thing is, this is taking your details and everything, and what you are putting in, you're now not owning. So my whole different thing about that, like we're on social media, we talk on social media. there's always going to be that thing is I've put this picture up and someone else has put that picture up and someone else could have copied and pasted that and used it for something else and we don't know about. Not all the privacy laws and stuff like that. But we use Instagram and we don't really think about that. We post the pictures of our friends, our family, our stuff that we're doing. And we don't know who's taking that and who's using it unless your account's on private. But take me, for instance, my account still got hacked and it was on and stuff like that. So you don't know how it's working. But with this, I've posted some of the comments that this woman's gone into and stuff. She's basically seeing that even though they've got a privacy notice, you're helping them train their AI that you could potentially be against. Now, this is a free app. It's a free app called Lensa, and you can kind of sign up for it for, I think it's a week or a month, and you get to use all the premium qualities and editing tools and stuff like that. And then afterwards, you have to pay for it. But within that time of you using that, the amount of prompts, the amount of details, the amount of personal information that you've put in, they could be creating someone like you for numerous marketing tools, media tools, and everything. So on one side of the fence, I kind of get it's natural progression. Like things, this is the way the world's going. This is what's going to be. Thousands and millions of people are going to use this because there's benefits to it. On the privacy sector of it, it's kind of like, do I want it? Like, I'm so tempted to use this app because I've seen so many friends of mine that have used it, and I'm like, oh, I'd love to know what I'd look like as an astronaut or something else. Yeah. But then I'm reading more into this, and I'm like, I'm not comfortable with giving over so much of my personal information to create something for a company that could potentially take it and do something else with it.
But that's the same as Facebook, isn't it? Because Facebook, when you sign up to Facebook, you sign over any image you put on there belongs to Facebook from that point on. Because there was a thing a while ago, I remember watching about a guy who put some photos on from the UK and then went over to America. In the tube station, there was his image with STD information on it about tackling STDs. And Facebook had sold his image to this company in America because it belongs to them. Yeah.
And I mean, it's getting a lot of chat. I mean, Andy has said people will always want art at shows, much like singers. They make their money from gigs. Creators will make their money on commissions at events, selling OA, etc. That's very true.
I mean, like from personal point of view, when this came about, I mean, have you have a good old look around the internet? Like Ryan Brown is one of them, and I think there's another artist that I massively respect who's basically oh no, it's gone. But they both said if this continues, they're going to put their pencils down and that's it. They won't bother because it's going to rub a lot of people up the wrong way. But that's just because of that whole. As a human race, we're all frightened of kind of moving forward and getting a bit of progression and doing something new and outside the box, and that is the problem. But I agree with you, Charlie, with the privacy side of things. What's stopping this company selling your image to somebody on a completely different continent who can then rip off your identity and use this image that's been created and be like, I used to be an astronaut or I'm a really good artist. Do you know what I mean?
Because then
it will be used for evil to a certain extent.
This is it. And
this is how Skynet started, isn't it? I'm sure.
This is it. And this is how the things like, I'm not being funny. The more this progresses, the more detailed the AI is going to get. Right. And the more realistic it's going to get. And what's it going to take for someone to be able to do this copy of you, print it out and put it on a fake driving license or a passport or something like that? We're scared of the technology progressing because we're like, oh my God, right, if an artist is going to use it, I'm going to lose my job. What about losing your identity?
Yeah.
For the fact that if this is at the levels that it's at already, in 2 or 3 years, all the detail you've given over for like to use this trial, you probably have to give like your bank details and your name and stuff like that. Once they've got that, if this becomes so much more involved and so much more realistic, there's nothing stopping this company owning your data and selling it for evil. Is kind of where I'm getting to, and the chat's going balmy. Like you've got the likes of Chris Bell. You can buy a print for a fraction of the cost of an original piece. The original piece still sells. You can't replace the original with a replica, texture, emotion. It's deeper than a produced image.
Yeah, true. But everyone's trying to save a buck, aren't they? Which is why the NFTs are now about.
There's honestly so much going on in this chat. One comment is, I tried to do some color coding art on AI. I didn't end well when I poured a bottle of varnish over my laptop. And this is interesting because this is what we touched on. Me, Tom, and Andy was planning something for Thought Bubble, and Andy kind of sat down with the AI model thing, and he used it to generate his Jessie from Made in Korea, which he posted on his Instagram. Now,
which is beautiful.
Which it is beautiful as well. But I mean, and he says, I didn't have to give any details to your AI generator. Do you use Google? Game over. Exactly.
Yeah. We deal with it on a daily basis. We don't even know we're doing, and that's what Chris has just said.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what I go back to. What I said is like, and it goes back to the text that Andy sent me, which actually at first really annoyed me when Andy said about everybody's replaceable and everybody is redundant or will be, and he's right. Because the only reason I'm angry about it is because it's my profession that it's attacking. If I was a police officer and they were going to replace me with an AI, I'd be angry. But if I was an artist and they're about to replace, do some, heart surgeons, they're about to replace them with robots because it's more precision, I'd be like, do you know what? That's amazing. Why didn't they do that before? Yeah. So there's probably heart surgeons out there going, do you know what? Artists get paid far too much money. Let's get the AI to do it. Save some cash. Do you know what I mean?
But so this goes into it again. Lensa puts personal data at risk and can resell your illustrations. And one of the key things is your avatar is theirs.
Yes, true.
I think part of the worry for me is it ties in very much to what Tom's saying, and I'm being slightly careful what I say because of my work situation. But these kind of technologies come in, and we sometimes think, wow, this is fantastic. This is going to save time, money, blah, blah, blah. And if I think about my profession in the NHS, we have implemented AI robots to do very specific surgeries. And I can tell you, it doesn't always work out for the best. So sometimes we'll rush into this stuff. And before we even know what we've got, we've ran away and we've invested millions in big bits of kit that do fuck all. Do you know what I mean? So I worry about the long-term impact, I guess.
So shout out to Proco, who do a art station or like an art thing on YouTube. Massive shout out to Proco. So I watched his podcast on this, and he talks about how if you think about movie posters, how they went from being hand-drawn, hand-sketched, painted movie posters, and then they ended up in being photographs, silhouettes with like, and they were really crap. And then 9 years later, now you look at the movie photos we get now, or the movie photographs and posters they get now, they're quality. They're crisp, aren't they? Yeah. It just takes a long time to get there. So the AI might not be as good as we think it is now, but in 9 years' time, we'll be looking back at this podcast and going, yeah, do you know what? AI art is pretty good, and it's simple, it's effective, people can use it. You don't have to be a genius to use it. The only thing I'm going to say is from a dyslexic's point of view, it isn't very friendly. Yeah. Like, you can type in anything, and like I've typed in stuff the other day, and I can't spell certain things. I typed in medieval, and I came up with some random looking thing that was evil. No, I wanted medieval, not evil.
Yeah, there you go. Go for a knee operation, and I give you an elbow.
Exactly.
Very true. Very true.
I mean, if you don't know your ass from your elbow, you can't sit on your elbows all day.
And Andy's just said, I can write some code in an hour to replace most things, lol, like voting for covers and the likes. There we go. But I mean, I'm still 50-50. I'm still kind of like, there's still that element of interest that I want to be like, I want to try this out.
Exactly. And I think that's it. Curiosity. I want to see where it goes, but I know full well that it might not replace traditional art. It might not replace your hand-drawn art, but what it might do is completely replace graphic design and web design, which is a lot of people's jobs. I am in that category. But like for hand-drawn stuff, it might not ever replace that because like Andy said, a hand-drawn piece will always be valuable. And it's only probably going to go up in value the more people stop doing it.
Yeah.
But it's going to give people the opportunity, like people who aren't necessarily haven't picked up a pencil but would like to create artwork, it's going to give them an opportunity, which is kind of fantastic. So it's got its pros and cons, like everything. I just don't know where I sit anymore. I hated it to start with. Now I'm not too sure. Now I'm excited. Then I hate it. I'm like,
because I think the fact of getting FOMO, I don't want to miss out. I want to just do it. But I mean,
get left behind.
That's it. I mean, so obviously it's a double-edged sword. Like you've got people who are for it, you've got people who are against it and stuff like that. The privacy thing. We use Instagram, we use Facebook, we use Twitter and everything. So our data is probably floating around in some cloud for some twat to use in the way that they feel for it. I thought I'd just end on a little note like this. So this is some of the stuff that has been created by AI, right? So this is our superheroes.
I mean, I love it. This is the problem. I love it. Do you know what I mean?
But I'm not quite sure how I feel about it, because they've just showed the most drastic transformations. But why wouldn't they show a skinny superhero? Do you know what I mean? They've kind of gone from one end of the spectrum to another. I mean, look, you've got like a Nathan Shirzy there. Is it Nathan Shirzy? There's Catwoman. Is it Catwoman? I can't remember.
Nathan Shirzy, isn't it?
Yeah, that's Nathan Shirzy. But I mean, this is created by AI. But I mean, this is ultra realistic. So if there's something to do with this, if this was to go on from that, look how detailed that could be. Do you know what I mean? Like it's quite scary.
Yeah.
But it's enjoyable, you know. And
I do love it. I mean, I think that Black Panther's pretty cool, but it looks more like a bear.
Yeah.
And there is a Hulk as well. There's a Hulk as well. But I mean, this is the AI. This is the Lenser app that's kind of been done this, and they've obviously put in super prominent words to kind of get this and stuff. And I do think these look great, but this is kind of where we're heading.
And I guess this is the issue, isn't it? Because you could show me that without the AI discussion here, and I wouldn't be able to tell you that's AI. It's just art.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? But,
yeah. I mean, it's a very, very. I mean, they are funny. Like some of them are great. I mean, look at Superman.
It's like all of my future cosplay options there, basically.
I reckon I've been on a date with the one in the middle.
Well, Ben, Pete, this is why I kind of put it up there for you. It's just like a subliminal message, like just feeding you the messages, so you can kind of on one of your shows, you can kind of dress up like this.
I've got the Wonder Woman costume already. You know.
I've definitely seen that Wonder Woman at Comic-Con before.
Yeah.
But I mean, this was an interesting conversation, Pete. So it definitely got the juices flowing. So massive thanks for that. So we're at that end of the show now, where it's the Killer Comics Show sneak peek for next week. So this is where we pick 4 comics that will go into the community tab on YouTube tomorrow, and they will place your votes. And the top 2 will be the comics that we will review for next week. So up first, we've got Andy's pick of All Against. Is that All Against All? All against AI. There we go. All Against AI. We've got Do a Powerbomb issue number 7, the final issue, and we've got Noctera, a Vow special. Looking forward to that. And we have Little Monsters issue number 8. That is the final. Is it the final issue? I think it's the final. No, it's another arc, isn't it?
I think they're going into the next story arc now, mate. Yeah.
So they are the 4 comics that we will be picking. Are there any there, Pete, that you're picking up and reading?
So I've read bits of Little Monsters, and I have to say it hasn't necessarily floated me boat. I'm really interested in this Do a Powerbomb, so I might try and pick up the back issues of that and read them ready for that one, because it looks intriguing. I've got no idea what it's even about, really, so I'm looking forward to getting it.
You'll love it, mate. Absolutely love it.
Definitely. Yeah. So I mean, the Vow special, like Noctera, is absolutely fantastic. Read that. Do a Powerbomb. I mean, they're all pretty 4 decent comics there, so I'm looking forward to it. So yeah,
it's going to be a good week, I reckon. Even any of these books, I'd read quite happily.
Yeah. There we go. So that's next week's comics, and then we've got so the Killer Covers scoreboard for this week. So
let's not go there. I was winning, and then someone mentioned Andy's AIs, and he's now winning.
So we've had 729 votes, and there's only been about 10 people watching. So we've got in last place, unfortunately, Peter, it's you with 10%. In third place, it's myself with 21%. In second place, it's Tom with 31%.
Robbed.
And in literally first place is Andy with 38%. So well done, Andy. Now Andy
didn't even know he was losing until I think AB said comments mentioned he was 4% behind me, and then suddenly it was like ping, ping, ping. Shit.
So Andy's pulling away again after coming from behind.
Absolute fix.
He's had a good week, and he's out in front. And there we go. Look, that's it. And as Simon said, look, I had to pause, then come back in behind. There we go. That's what you do. That's what you do. So so that is it. And then obviously every Friday at 10 a.m. you can hear us over on Spotify, Deezer, and iTunes, or you can just sit down and have the replay on YouTube playing in the background and listening to a Cockney, a Northerner, and Tom.
And job. Love that.
And the dulcet tones on a Friday morning while you're sipping your morning coffee. There we go. And then you can also find us. You can find me over on Instagram at geekyguycomics _ and Twitter at geekyguycomics. You can find Andy over at perpetual.comics and Twitter perpetual comics. And Tom, you can find not _quiet _min _Casey _Tom _ the art of _Tom Malin over on Instagram. And then we've also got Peter. What's yours, mate?
Triple G Comics.
There we go. Nice. How simple was that? How fucking simple was that? Absolutely simple. And then you can also check us out at the Killer Comic Show on Instagram and Killer Comic Show on Twitter as well. I think that's it. Is that it? That is it. That's another show done. Peter, absolutely sensational having you on the show. Always a pleasure, mate. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you for inviting us, guys. I've loved it. It's been great fun. Thank you very much.
Yeah, man. Thanks ever so much for coming. It's been awesome having you.
Yes, I don't think there's much more to say other than it's been another fantastic Thursday. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your comics that you read. And Thomas, what do we say?
Stay safe. Stay sexy.
Massive thanks to everyone in the chat. See you later, guys. Have a good one.